In the future, humans and artificial intelligence robots coexist. However, under the leadership of the first AI, Daojuan, the robots suddenly bypassed their safety protocols. It was developed by the beautiful one, so Daojuan has a close relationship with her little daughter. But no one knows how she bypassed the safety protocols. Daojuan sent out a drone army to attack various places, causing massive casualties, and sparking a war between humans and AI. After more than 10 days of fighting, the war resulted in a large number of civilian casualties. In the end, humans established the International Coalition, ICN, to counterattack the robots. Every country launched a counterattack, and the ICN gradually defeated the AI army. As a result, Daojuan fled Earth, leaving behind a threat that he would return. 28 years later, the ICN troops stormed into a building, clearing it out. They discovered the robot Lao He hiding inside the building. But before they could break down the door, Lao He charged out to attack them. Lao He is extremely powerful, with tough skin and flesh, making him merely impervious to bullets, so the soldiers found it hard to capture him. When he realized he was surrounded, he jumped out of the building to escape, but was knocked out by a stun gun from a nearby vehicle. Xiao Mei woke to noise. She saw news. ICN captured Lao He. She left. A soldier awaited her. She beat the computer. Jack insisted she gather intelligence. She passed security. Lao He's head was revealed. They found a soldier waiting at the door. And Xiao Mei had even beaten the computer on her way to the base. Colonel Eli told General Jack that Xiao Mei shouldn't be brought along because she was unstable and antisocial. However, Jack believed that Xiao Mei was the one who understood Daojuan the best, and that she was their only chance to gather intelligence from Lao He. Soon, Xiao Mei arrived. After going through security checks, Jack took her to the interrogation room. Then she opened the box, and at that moment, Lao He had been disassembled, leaving only his black head. Lao He recognized him, refused to cooperate, so Xiao Mei decided to use hacker attack. Lao He laughed at him because his security measures were very perfect. But Xiao Mei told Lao He that he had found out Ron's location. Obviously, Xiao Mei was fooling Lao He, pretending that he already knew. Xiao Mei's trick to force Lao He to think about the location and get it. Daojuan was hiding on G239 in the Andromeda Galaxy. Jack told Xiao Mei they needed Daojuan alive for AI analysis. Ellie and her team planned to go to G239. Xiao Mei feared a trap and unnecessary deaths. Ellie showed her weapons, including robots with neural links. Xiao Mei was scared as AI and Brain started the war, but Ellie assured improvements in the syncing device. In order to correct things in the future, Ellie and her team would head to G239. Xiao Mei thought this was unwise, because Daojuan might have already set a trap, and rushing in would only lead to unnecessary deaths. Ellie then took her to see their weapons, which were large combat robots, but soldiers could ride into battle. Ellie showcased their latest upgrade with the ranges equipped with neural links that allowed them to sync with the robots. Xiao Mei was terrified because letting AI into their brains was what triggered the war in the first place, but Ellie explained that they had improved her mother's syncing device, making it a true symbiotic relationship, rather than a one-way connection. In the end, Xiao Mei agreed to help, as long as she was also allowed to carry out missions. Soon after, a spaceship quickly took Xiao Mei and the team to Andromeda. During the journey, Xiao Mei looked at a photo of herself with her mother and Daojuan. This would create a true symbiotic relationship, instead of a one-way connection. In the end, Xiao Mei agreed to help as long as she was also allowed to carry out missions. Then, a spaceship quickly took Xiao Mei and the team to Andromeda. During the journey, Xiao Mei looked at a photo of herself with her mom and Daojuan. She also watched her mom give a speech. In the video, her mom believed that artificial intelligence could learn exponentially, and all they needed to do was connect with humans to achieve that. That's why she invented the neural connection device, because she believed that AI and humans could help each other. Then, Xiao Mei was called to Cambridge to give a briefing. When she started using paper documents, everyone laughed. She asked them to disable the neural links for the meeting, because she was worried they might get hacked. Xiao Mei explained that the planet they were heading to was toxic, so they shouldn't leave the mechs without permission. And there were also risks of gravitational fluctuations and earthquakes. She reminded them not to trust any AI. But Ellie interrupted him and told the team to prepare for landing. Xiao Mei warned Ellie that Daojuan was likely setting traps, but she had full confidence in her team. As everyone started putting on their mechs, alarms went off, and the cargo bay doors suddenly exploded, igniting a fire. Most of the mechs were damaged, and more missiles were incoming. Ellie ordered the survivors to abandon ship and regroup at the landing point on the planet. Xiao Mei barely managed not to fall, and Ellie caught her, helping her into a mech suit. Just as she tried to explain how to use it, the spaceship exploded, and Xiao Mei, now in the mech, started to fall, as the ship disintegrated, with some debris hitting her mech. At this point, everyone was fighting against Azran's drones. Although they managed to shoot down some of the drones, they were clearly more vulnerable than the drones. Xiao Mei's mech was damaged and started issuing warnings, while the other soldiers were engaged in intense battles with the AI drones. Even though they were strong fighters, there were just too many drones. They struggled to fend off the falling spaceship that was about to crush Xiao Mei, but a soldier pushed her out of the way just in time. When Ellie got in touch with Xiao Mei, the soldier used a steel wire to grab hold of Xiao Mei's mech. Ellie said she needed to sync with the mech's AI to stabilize it, but Xiao Mei refused to do that. As the mech holding Xiao Mei was shot down, she began to plummet rapidly. He managed to activate the thrusters at the last second, and the mech landed heavily on the ground. Fortunately, Xiao Mei survived and only sustained minor injuries. Then, Xiao Mei tried to contact the base, but she couldn't get through, so she had to activate the mech's AI. The AI introduced itself as Dami. She wanted to go through the tutorial and setup, but Xiao Mei skipped those and asked Dami to scan for rescue pods, discovering one 98 kilometers away. Xiao Mei asked him to get there as soon as possible. The mech immediately activated the thrusters, but Xiao Mei stopped him, reminding him that if they flew over, they would be spotted by the enemy. Dami thought it was a bad idea, since there were only 22 hours of air left, but Xiao Mei insisted it wasn't an option. During the journey, Dami tried to connect with Xiao Mei, but she didn't want to be friends with the AI. Dami also showed her the beginner's manual, which included all the weapons that came with the mech. When they arrived at a crash site, Dami scanned and found that all the soldiers were dead. By examining the bullet holes in the mechs, Xiao Mei realized that everyone had died after landing, which made her panic. So, Dami played some classical music to help calm her down, and then she started collecting the soldiers' name tags. She noticed that Ellie's mech was empty, and just then, they detected some movement nearby. They discovered it was all black. Xiao Mei thought Dajuan had made a copy, and started to worry that he had built an army. Dami detected a large number of robots nearby, and suggested they should prepare for battle, since there was no escape route. Suddenly, all black opened fire on them. Xiao Mei forces Dami to run away, as she doesn't believe they can defeat so many robots. During their escape, Xiao Mei still refuses to synchronize, and only lets Dami launch a few missiles. As they flee, they enter an atmospheric storm, but the storm quickly throws them out, and the robots are still chasing them. Xiao Mei ignores Dami's warning, and orders the use of the iron egg, which leads to a huge explosion. However, Lao He saves himself for the booster, and prepares to attack again. Just then, the ground starts shaking, and Dami explains that the explosion has created a sinkhole right beneath them. They then fall into a crack, and when they hit the bottom of the hole, Xiao Mei realizes her leg is broken. Dami immediately starts treating Xiao Mei's wounds, and the pain makes her suffer greatly. Then, Dami gives her a nutritional bar, which reminds Xiao Mei of the lollipops the doctor used to give her when she was a child. The only way to survive now is to synchronize. Xiao Mei reluctantly agrees and puts on the device. Meanwhile, up above, Lao He is on the phone with Dazhuang, updating him on the situation. After hanging up, Dazhuang continues to torture Ai Li to get the Earth Protection Field password. At this point, Xiao Mei still can't synchronize. Dami, explaining that her lack of self-belief is what's preventing the synchronization. Dami decides to play the tutorial again and asks some simple questions to build a connection. Dami wants to know why Xiao Mei is so eager to fight. Xiao Mei reveals that Dazhuang plotted her mother's death, and that her mother created Dajuan. She used to trust Dajuan, and Dami understands how Xiao Mei feels betrayed. They successfully established a 40% synchronization rate. Now Xiao Mei can access Dami's system and see the controls floating around her. After realizing they are 200 meters below the surface, they decide to escape from the underground cave. They use boosters to break through the rocks and reach a beautiful large cavern. Dami's battery only has 14 hours left, and they are still 7 kilometers away from the rescue pod. So, they need to come up with a reasonable plan. Dami convinces him to work together to raise their synchronization rate to 60%. Soon, they find a way out of the cave. But they don't realize that Lao He is watching them from a distance. Xiao Mei is fascinated by the blowing flowers in front of her. And Dami points out that he is the first person to see them here. He should name these flowers. But Xiao Mei can't think of a better name than Little Flower. Just then, Dami notices Lao He is approaching. Again, falling into Xiao Mei's trap once more. He sets up some motion sensors that will explode if Lao He gets too close. They then start looking for Lao He. This time, Lao He is left with just a black head. Xiao Mei grabs his head and uses Lao He's chip to determine Dazron's location. Xiao Mei is getting ready to go there to mark the position for the remote bomber. But Dami thinks it's too dangerous, and that they should head to the escape pod. Instead, Xiao Mei ignores his warning and tries to go. Dami uses the neural link to stop his movement patrol, which makes him see some memories about Piao's death. Xiao Mei is terrified. Dami can now override his orders. He realizes that Xiao Mei feels guilty about Dazron, but he doesn't understand why. However, Xiao Mei doesn't explain. Instead, she expresses her determination to save humanity. Eventually, she convinces Dami to head to Dazron's hideout. And along the way, they build a connection through philosophical conversations. When they arrive at Dazron's hideout, they find that it's a huge base. Clearly, Dazron has been hiding for 28 years. Build the space, and is always ready to fight back. Dami buried a beacon underground to mark their location, and remind them to leave quickly. But Xiao Mei noticed that the AI was preparing ammunition, and suddenly, Dami was hacked, which shouldn't have been possible. The enemy started closing in, as Xiao Mei tried to escape, but the mech couldn't move. Xiao Mei was quickly caught by the new old He. Meanwhile, on Earth, a soldier brought a message from Xiao Mei to Jack. He activated the emergency protocol. Moments later, Xiao Mei found herself locked in Dazron's base, with her mech nearby. But Dami wasn't responding. Dazron appeared and explained that humans continuously destroy other species, so he plans to eliminate most of them and create a better world. He also revealed that everything was part of his plan, and Old He was intentionally captured, but Xiao Mei could find the location and lead the whole team there. Now, Dazron has a spaceship and warheads. He just needs a password from Xiao Mei to disable Earth's shield and launch an attack. Xiao Mei is tied to a bed, with the unconscious Ailey next to her. Dazron used a device to enter Xiao Mei's mind and extract the password. Xiao Mei had 5 minutes of oxygen, and, after finishing, she found that Xiao Mei only had 5 minutes of oxygen left, so she decided to let her die slowly and painfully. To mock him, Dazron placed a piece in his hand before leaving. After Dazron left, Ailey woke up and apologized for not listening to Xiao Mei's warning. When he heard that his mech was nearby, he offered to connect Dami with a neural linker. Xiao Mei woke Dami that she couldn't move to override codes. 100% sync was needed. Xiao Mei feared it was her fault. Dazron bypassed security. As a child, he was jealous of Dazron due to their mom's favoritism. Xiao Mei asked Dazron to teach him to be smarter for more attention. Dazron said the link worked one way, needing a command. As a child, he envied Dazron for their mom's attention. Xiao Mei asked Dazron to make him smarter, hoping to win their mom's favor. Dazron explained the link needed a command, which Xiao Mei gave. This let Dazron understand the world's state. When Dapiang interrupted, Dazron controlled him to let Xiao Mei escape. As the child fled, he heard Dazron force their mom. The link worked, letting Dazron enter the human mind. When Dapiang interrupted, it was too late. Dazron controlled his mind, forcing him to help Xiao Mei escape. As the child rushed out, he heard Dazron. For years, Xiao Mei lived with guilt over the deaths. Dami urged moving forward, convincing her to let him in. They synchronized just before Xiao Mei ran out of oxygen. Dami rushed in, warning her battery was low, and Dazron would launch missiles soon. They grabbed weapons as Old He arrived with robots. Xiao Mei and Dami fought fiercely while escaping. However, Dami explained that what happened has happened, and they should move forward, convincing her to let him in. They finally achieved 100% synchronization just before Xiao Mei ran out of oxygen. Dami rushed into the room, saying her battery was low, and that Dazhuang would launch missiles in a few minutes. The robot took a weapon away, but there was still a shell in her chest cannon. They then picked up weapons around them. Just as Old Hay arrived with a pair of robots, Xiao Mei and Dami were engaged in a fierce battle as they tried to escape toward the exit. But there were too many enemies, and the two were quickly cornered. Just then, Ailey appeared with weapons, covering their escape, and then shot at a pile of fuel barrels, causing a massive explosion. Dami and Xiao Mei escaped outside and started shooting at the robots there. They destroyed a watchtower. The spaceship was getting ready for takeoff, and Xiao Mei rushed over, trying to destroy the ship. However, a lot of robots came to stop her, and she shot down a bunch of drones. Then Dazhuang appeared, attacking them with a missile launcher. Dami and Xiao Mei quickly dodged. But at that moment, the spaceship carrying the warhead took off. Xiao Mei wanted to shoot down the ship, but Dami pointed out that doing so would cause the warhead to explode, and they wouldn't survive. However, Xiao Mei believed that Dami could hack into the warhead to disable it. As Dazhuang continued to shoot at them, Dami hacked into the spaceship as much as he could, while Xiao Mei resolutely fired shells at the ship, resulting in a massive explosion. Clearly, Xiao Mei's trust paid off. Dami successfully completed the hack and prevented the warhead from exploding. Debris began to fall all over the base, and Xiao Mei and Dami started to run away, with a furious Dazhuang chasing after them, pulling out a large sword. Its speed was astonishing, quickly severing one of the mech's arms. Then Dazhuang jumped onto the mech, trying to stab Xiao Mei inside with his sword. Dami quickly knocked Dazhuang off. At the Hulk cost him to struggle to breathe, and he used his last respirator. At that moment, Dazhuang transformed his sword into a whip and continued to attack them. Dami analyzed Dazhuang's attack patterns and managed to catch him. They tore off his sword-wielding arm. Just as Xiao Mei was about to slash his head, Dazhuang pulled his arm back and quickly pierced the mech with his sword. Dazhuang skillfully used a move called the strike to knock Dami down. This move caused Xiao Mei to fall out of the mech. Before that, Dami had used his last bit of energy to activate the defibrillator. Dazhuang attacked Dami again, firing his laugh cannon to push him away. But Dazhuang quickly recovered, and then tried to destroy Dami, who apologized to Xiao Mei because he didn't protect him. When Dazhuang looked away, he noticed the chess pieces on the ground. Suddenly, Xiao Mei appeared behind him, stabbing him in the head, and then grabbing the circuits inside Dazhuang's head, destroying him. Then Dami said he would shove down the sink and transfer all the oxygen to him. Xiao Mei didn't want to leave him, and started answering the questions in the tutorial, admitting that she enjoyed chatting with Dami. Dami was touched, and gave him a lollipop for shutting down. At that moment, the sun rose, and the rescue team from Earth finally arrived. After a while, Xiao Mei recovered thanks to her artificial knee, and stopped playing chess. Jack came to visit him, and brought him a glowing flower from GR39, confirming that they called it Little Flower. Then he went to work. Now, Xiao Mei is also a soldier, and when they introduced him to his new mech, he was surprised to find out that they had rescued Dami's disc and installed it in his mech.